Introduction. My mind works better than normal when I'm driving my bike. Maybe it's because of a lot of oxygen, I don't know exactly. If that's true, then a windy place is also a good option for the thought process. One day, a thought popped up. What's the core problem both spirituality and science face? It's oneness. Spirituality addresses this as divine. But science, its counterpart, doesn't believe in oneness. Even though some theories, like the Big Bang, talk about a singularity, science doesn't believe the capacity of the singularity is equal to the capacity believed by spirituality. Both science and spirituality start with S, not just in name. Their core also shares commonality, but a bridge is not available. I want to mention this. I'm not purely a science person or a spirituality person. I'm just a person who loves both and has an interest in both. Now I'd like to explain this with an analogy. A seed holds a whole tree within it. Here, spirituality values the seed and science values what's inside it. Both are correct. A new subject that bridges both should be encouraged. My interest is to develop this idea and see how far it goes. First, let's go over the limitations or constraints. Limitations. As I already mentioned, there are personal limitations. Even though I have an interest in science and spirituality and have read a lot about it, I don't have a systematic background in either. Regarding the subject itself, if we go to the origin of cosmology or the quantum world, our everyday logic doesn't help there, because both fields have their own logic that's hard to understand, and exact understanding is impossible due to the limitation of knowledge. This impossible nature and these limitations are holding both spiritual and scientific understanding in their respective hands. These thoughts somehow led to Schrödinger's wave equation, his cat thought experiment, and also Hugh Everett's NWI. Parallel reality, many worlds in oneness. When we measure, the wave function collapses, revealing reality. Here, measurement determines reality, and that reality in turn instantly determines the reality of any other particle entangled with it. Even if we measure both entangled particles at the very same time, they still yield correlated results. The mystery of superposition in itself remains largely unknown and impossible to determine individually. However, this unknown state is paradoxically known to the entangled particles themselves. Their superpositions are mutually aware. How truly fascinating this is. If the Big Bang theory holds true, and everything originated from a single singularity, then all particles could be seen as entangled with that singularity. This singularity therefore might know all superpositions, all possible realities, because in essence, all possibilities exist within it. Multiple realities, even if it's not a collapse as per MWI theory, like one soul expressed through countless, various bodies. As I said earlier, we have to leave our everyday logic behind to understand this. The seed discussed earlier holds all of the tree within it. Don't imagine a circle or space within a seed. Imagine seed itself. It doesn't mean a seed is holding a fully grown tree in it, but it holds the potential of growing into a big tree. Similarly, before the Big Bang, there was a conscious seed holding everything in it. Its outer shell was consciousness itself, an energy in rest form. As you know, what's invisible means you can't see it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Everything shrunk into it. A little spark from its loneliness created everything. That consciousness shell is entangled with all, which knows everything. This shell is expanded, not broken, much like nature itself expands and provides space for everything to exist. Energy and divine belongings. One question that may arise is energy a god? Science says energy can't be created or destroyed, but it can transmute. Science also knows how to extract it from various sources, how it works, and even how to transmute it. Consider how the human body works, eating food and drinking water. When we look closer, it reveals vitamins, minerals, proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and so on. If we go even further, it reveals that what we do is break down food molecules and consume the energy between them. It seems like energy is divine, but there's no talk about whom it belongs to. When I say whom, it feels like I'm putting limitations on the divine. So where does it belong? Because of language limitations, word where itself addresses the divine, because the divine is always uncategorized. Or in simple, what made the energy in rest form? Is divine, is pure potential. If we need consciousness to perceive a stone as stone, like with its structure, color, shape, and solidity, then the universe itself must possess consciousness to manifest the stone as such. Considering we observe perfect geometrical shapes in nature, is this possible without consciousness? Conclusion: every dimension is missing some geometrical shape because it doesn't exist in that dimension. For example, in 2D, a circle; in 3D, a geometrical shape with time. When we say something doesn't exist, then the concept itself doesn't exist. If the divine concept exists, and every solution arises from its problem, then if there's a problem with the divine, the solution is also with the divine. The divine is simple, but understanding the divine is more complex. We can use a simple equation for the divine. Divine equals 0. Probably an invisible 0, as said earlier. Here, invisible refers to nature itself, which can't be seen, and 0 signifies the absence of dynamic. It doesn't need anything to become 0. It simply is. It's simple, but understanding 0, understanding the capacity of 0, is difficult. Like 0, which is the start and end, it holds all numbers. Same way I define the oneness as us, all-encompassing us, which includes from thoughts to tiny particles that contribute to its dynamics.